Hey, everybody, welcome to the Grow Yourself podcast. I'm your host, Kevin McNulty, and this is your personal development school of growth, where each week my guests and I will bring and break down big ideas and practices that will help you learn, grow, and succeed in life. Thanks for checking us out. Now let the growth begin. So welcome back to part 2 of Ken Cheng's incredible story. The story is based on a book that his daughter wrote about him and his family when Ken was a child, and their incredible escape from communist Vietnam. So in part 1, which has already been posted, we heard about the incredible bravery and determination that Ken and his family showed in escaping Vietnam after the communists took over in 1975. They survived there thanks to his mother's previous foresight in buying gold, which not only helped them survive for 3 years in Vietnam, but also eventually paid for their escape. So after escaping Saigon in a truck filled with livestock and other people, Ken and his family then boarded a small but very crowded boat. But within only a few days, the boat broke down and they were stranded in the South China Sea for around 21 days with no food or water to speak of. They faced a range of terrifying challenges, from getting stuck on the barrier reef to encountering, shark-infested water and even people dying to the sea. But despite all of this, they never lost hope and they never gave up. And eventually, they were rescued and became refugees for 13 months in the Philippines. And this is what part 2 is about. But even more, even more remarkable is what happened next. Ken's family, again, never gave up on their dreams of a better life. They had heard about and really knew about America, that it was known as the land of the free and land of opportunity. And they knew that this is where they needed to go. And so after 13 months in a refugee camp in the Philippines, they journeyed to go to America, where they then worked tirelessly to build a new life for themselves, and they succeeded thanks to, again, this determination. Ken's story is a powerful reminder that when we're going through hell, we must keep moving. We must never give up on our dreams or our desires for a better life, no matter how difficult the journey may be, because in the end, success and happiness are within our reach. And if we are willing to work for it, it will happen. So join me now for part 2 as Ken talks about being rescued and then eventually landing in America. Okay, so Ken, so kind of set us up for when you eventually saw the Filipino boat and this, that, and the other, so we can move into that area.
Okay, the Filipino boat came
So
over.
You've been in the water how long now before you saw the
21 day
Filipino?
now.
Okay, 21 days.
21 day. The kid died 2 hours ago, and the Filipino boat parked by and came on our boat, tried to save the little kid, and it was too late
Too
already.
late. But
The
they
body,
saw you or you saw them?
they just by curiosity, they thought they discover a treasure.
Oh,
Because the boat has been drifting. No answer. They're gonna have to come by, and whatever
see
they could.
what's up. Yeah.
It's a third world country everywhere.
Yeah.
So they trying to, get whatever they can,
Sure.
The boat was, so they came, and then they saw a bunch of people. They came over, they call back to the embassy or whatever and say, hey, we discovered these people, and then, can we rescue them and all that. And then, of course, at the time, 1978, 79, 1978, yeah, at the time, July 1978. So the US and the international, they whoever comes out to the escaping from South Vietnam, they rescue. Yeah. So they turn these people to refugee.
I see.
So the Filipino did, call to the central whatever. I don't remember what they called, but they said they're gonna rescue us. So they came over. The moment they came over, the captain, he threw up because it's too filthy. 21 day people pee and poop inside the boat, and throwing up inside the boat, and dead body, living in there. In fact, one teenager that came, I think the second person died. He's literally sleeping next to me, that person. So I was sleeping with a corpse before. So he's literally next to me. So he died, and the very next day we throw him in the bless the body and then throw in the ocean. So basically, at the moment you ask me, am I fear about those situations? No, because you just don't have time to think about other things that being scared. Hey, the dead body is next to me. I mean, just like during the war when the U.S. troop withdraw, and the pilot land the helicopter into the building next to my grandma's building, and then we went out and to visit my grandma. We see body part are pulling out of the building. I've seen things like that. So as a little kid, so you see body part basically, dragging out of the building, and you see grenade on the floor, you see machine guns on the floor. I mean, it's just a mess at the time, in that moment. So I don't even know what to think. You ask me, do I scare? At that moment, I don't, I just don't know.
By then you're probably numb,
You
I mean,
numb,
really
you just don't know what to think. Yeah. Okay, so get back to the Filipino. The Filipino said now it's in the dark and the storm is coming, and it was pouring down rain at the time he came over. And then we are drinking water. Everybody is throwing up like crazy. We are gulping down water, and it was pouring down rain and catching water. They're bringing water over to us. And the moment we're drinking, we're throwing back up. Yeah, the body is not taking it. Yeah,
we can't handle it. Yeah,
it cannot handle it. So we do taking a lot of water, but coming back out. So I don't know how much kept in there, but we survived. Yeah. Anyway, so they said we cannot take you guys over. Your boat is too small. Our ship is too big. And then if we park next to other with the the strong wave and the high wave, and we'll crush the two. So I see. They said, we cannot rescue you tonight, but the Cat 5 is coming. The Cat 5 is already predict coming.
A typhoon?
Typhoon? Oh, no, they call it hurricane.
Hurricane, okay.
In Philippines, yeah.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Oh, it's category 5, hurricane. Wow. Okay, so it makes the story more interesting. And it was pouring down rain after the kid died, and the Filipino, by chance came by and find treasure and rescue us. And then the very next day, they strategize. They're using that little outrigger boat where they, go catch fish. They have 43 fishermen. They have 43 of those long, narrow with outrigger on the side. Oh, right. They take a basket of a rock with a bait, feather baits on the hook. They came back with a basket of fish. Every morning, these Filipino ship fishermen. So they have a quota to meet. They have a quota to meet, and they have to fill up that storage before they can head back to their quota. So they said, even though we rescue you, we cannot take you back to Manila yet until we fill up the quota. We said, at that time, what choice do you have? Yeah. So the very next day, they used the fishermen to take one person or two people at a time. From one boat to the other. So it took hours transport the people. As soon as we get on, they use the pump, use the ocean water, and rinse us out, everybody, because the bacteria is on us and the smells on us. Wow. And they can't use the fresh water to bathe us because they have to reserve for now. We have 100 plus 43, and so basically it took hours to transport the people from the little boat to the big ship.
Two at a time?
The outrigger cannot fit a lot of people. It's so skinny.
I see. Oh, I
see. They can only fit one person, the fisherman and you.
So basically. This took hours to get everybody from one boat to the
hours.
next.
Yeah, like I said, it took hours. At the same time, the waves start picking up. Wow. It was not easy to get even from our boat onto that. Wow. Yeah, so I still have a very vivid memory about the whole situation. So they transport us over, and then when they throw the whole fish into a big container and boil a bunch of we call it kanji, which is rice soup. Oh, so it helps tremendously because we cannot take in any solid. Maybe they they knew about a little bit about human, when you get hungry too long, you can't eat any solid. You gotta start with
just
with
liquid,
soft thing,
yeah,
with a liquid diet. So they boil a big container, congee with fish, and then when we get on, and that's what they feed us. And the next 7 days, that's what they feed us. Nothing solid, is all congee.
wow.
Maybe they got instructed by the headquarters.
Yeah, some medical
So
people
that's
or
what they
something.
feed
Yeah,
us,
yeah,
because I'm glad they did. If they feed us with solid, maybe some people will die from it.
yeah, because they
Yeah.
physical body can't handle it. Yeah,
Yeah, your
wow.
body cannot handle it. So basically we did eat, but we cannot digest.
Okay,
It
I
was
see.
always stuff. I still remember that moment. Still remember that that time. And the stomach is not digesting. It
Right.
just lost the function.
Yeah,
We still continue eating.
yeah.
Yeah, so because we've been hungry so long. And I beat any survivor over here, the survivor show.
Well, I mean, the thought, crossed my mind about, what you've been through compared to,
The
what
survivor over
you
here,
did.
they beat me, they eating worm. I
Yeah,
haven't eaten
yeah,
worm,
yeah,
so I don't
yeah,
know
yeah,
about it.
yeah,
Yeah. But anyway, we've been to 21 days without food and water, with
yeah.
very little source of water. Like the first 2 weeks, maybe a couple, spoon or two. But long story short, we ride with the fisherman, the captain, set up a uh uh negotiation before they even rescued us.
I see.
Okay. So they want 43 watches. They want 3,000 US dollar. That's the stipulation before they rescue us.
Wow.
Yep. And
It's hard to fathom that because you think to yourself that, and maybe maybe that's coming from more of a first world thinking that, you see somebody, you rescue them, and
you don't rob
you don't
these
want
people.
something,
No,
but
it's third world country.
these are hungry people. I mean, I'm
Hungry.
just trying to say it's interesting to hear that. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Wow.
Just because they're hungry people, otherwise
Yeah.
we'd be dead already.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah. Yeah.
hungry,
Yeah.
they thought that they
Of
discovered
course.
treasure.
Yeah. And you will give
Otherwise,
them
I would
whatever,
be
I'm sure.
here,
Yeah.
sitting over here and talking to you.
Yeah.
If they don't come by another day, we're all
Right.
dead
Right.
because of
Right. Right.
Cat 5 picking up.
Wow.
The
Wow.
Category 5, even the big ship has, gone like this.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, so we were on the boat, yeah,
Yeah.
on his big ship.
Okay.
But so the negotiation was 43 watch. They have 43 fishermen on boat, and then they want 3,000 US dollar, and then they want two women.
$3,000 in 78 and 77 was pretty good clip of money.
Very good money. And guess what? And nobody has US dollar. We came from Vietnam.
Oh wow.
So the captain made up with gold. So
Okay.
each bar has 2 ply. They take the middle ply out. So to cheat them. So gave them 30 gram instead of 30 gram, maybe 15 gram.
I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Because they don't
Interesting.
know any better. Yeah.
Right. 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 Right.
So I
Interesting.
learned all that from my mom. So after,
Everybody's trying to
yeah.
survive here, right?
And then we
So
didn't come up with 43 watches, and we came up short and then made up with additional gold. And then finally they agree. And then they found two women that sneak on our boat, didn't pay. They are the one who serviced them.
wow.
Yeah, it is tragic, but
Yeah.
you at that moment, what choice do you have?
Yeah.
And then we were not supposed to even talk about this, because they
Yeah.
rescue us. And then this is their, you know,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the negotiation that we agree upon
Yeah.
on. And so they
Wow.
did took two women with them for 1 week. Yeah.
Wow.
Two young girl, I should say, two young girl. But anyway, 7 days later, they drop us on a very small Filipino island. They have over 1,000 or 3,000 island. I don't even know
Yeah,
to
they've
make
got a
up
lot. Yeah.
Philippine.
Yeah.
And the island they drop us on is called Marlboro. It's just like the Marlboro cigarette we have,
Wow.
same exact spelling, Marlboro Island. So we stay there for 10 days. So, and that island was less than 30 people.
Oh.
Nobody lives on there. It's like a
Wow.
vacant island.
I see.
Like
Oh, wow.
it's got a little church up on the hill, and it's got a one little shop. Maybe few family lives there. Less than 30 people.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was no communication from that island to other part of the world.
Mm.
So it's all about from, written up a note and then, voted out.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, don't even have electricity.
Oh,
You
wow.
talk about country. Yeah,
Wow.
that is super
That's
country.
super
Yeah.
country. Yeah.
Yeah, super country. So
Wow.
we lived there for 10 days. We dig out ditch and then we fill up the ditch, we cover up the ditch. Now you have 100 people on the island. So
Now
that's
there's 100 people there. Yeah.
feed us though.
Wow. Oh, I
And of
see.
course, every day they have boat coming in and bringing us food.
Oh, I see. Yes. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they
this
do
is,
have a neighbor island that is more civilized, I'd
yeah.
say.
Sure.
So, and then 10 days later, the US Navy ship came by and pick us up. We have to climb the 30 feet ladder to get on the ship. So
Big ship, huh?
the big ship came, yeah, one of those I don't remember. It's probably fighter jet ship
Like
type
a
of ship.
carrier, huh?
Carrier, yeah.
Wow. Ooh, that's
Came pick us
huge.
up and then take us to Manila and
Okay.
ride the army truck to the refugee camp. That was the trip from boat to Philippine Manila called Mandaluyong Anik Mandaluyong refugee camp. And guess what? That camp is house crazy people, meaning people have psychological problem.
Oh my.
It's like housing those people.
And
It's a hospital,
it's a hospital, and that's where you
mental
went to
hospital.
stay. Wow.
Yeah, it's a mental
Did you
hospital.
interact with the people that
No,
were
we
no.
just blend right in, and then we live on the quarter, we live
Yeah.
in corners of the building,
But I
and
bet you cherished it.
people just walk around
Yeah.
the facility,
Yeah.
the the
Yeah.
the, the psycho people,
Yeah.
the mental problem
Yeah.
people. Yeah, so
So
and then
Ken, before we go on with that, let me just sort of I guess you could say maybe recap or talk to you about, do you remember at the time when you either in the small island or in Manila, do you remember either conversations with your mother and father, or do you remember how you thought about this 21 days? Really, it was more than 21 days, right? It was really 31
guess what?
days because you spent 10.
All that 21 day was forgotten because now we
Yeah.
just happy to be survived.
Yeah.
We were
Wow.
happy to be treated like a king
Wow.
because all this international support
Attention. Yeah.
that we're
Yeah.
getting, attention that we get, and the local people are being so uh so they are very, very
Accommodating or
their
whatever.
hospitality is crazy. They
Yeah.
bring us
Filipinos are
money, they bring
beautiful
us,
people. Yeah.
they're beautiful, people just
Yeah.
helping. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Asian community in Philippines, they are very wealthy.
Is that
Even
right?
today,
No kidding.
the government over there has to bribe them to do something. That's
Wow.
how wealthy the Asian community over there.
Mm.
So they step in and help us.
Mm.
And to make just give you one scenario. So when the water was dried out, Philippine water is essential. Okay, not a lot of neighborhood has water, so people come with any size of bucket just trying to catch water and reserve the water for cooking, for bathing, for whatever.
Yeah.
So water was very hard to get, and then we were out of water in that refugee camp for 2 days, and then we got thousands of people in there,
Wow.
and then we all struggling, and it's hot. Philippines is hot. And then we call to the Chinese community in Philippines. Next hour, they send 10 fire trucks over just to give us water.
Wow.
Fire truck is not like a faucet water. It
No,
can't
man, you're talking about a
mile away.
wow.
They bring a lot of fire trucks over just to rescue the refugee camp. And then they send a representative over and say, hey, cannot be like this because you guys have so many people here. You guys cannot live without water. The very next day, they bring a drill in and got us a pump. Got us a huge metal tank with a pump filling up the tank. And guess what? All the Filipino in the neighbor camp get the water from us. They're the one who implement the water source. They go down, I don't even know how deep
Yeah.
to draw the water out from
That's
the
unbelievable,
ground.
man. What I mean,
Yeah.
it's a blessing.
I mean, it's a very blessing. All these people are so nice and helping, just to help.
Yeah.
Nobody pay for it except them. They're paying for
Yeah.
everything.
And
Yeah.
these were just Chinese people that just lived there
There's
in the
local Chinese people living over there,
yeah. And
and they are being wealthy. Yeah.
I see.
And it's yeah.
That's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
really, that's just completely
Very
amazing.
enthusiastic,
Yeah.
to help people. And then
Wow.
they pack, hey, you have 3,000 people, they pack 3,000 package of gift. Within it is daily stuff, like toothpaste and whatever that people need. They make it into a gift package. They bring truckloads of gifts just to pass out to all the refugees.
Wow.
You don't see people like this anymore today.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's what we received. And at that moment, you don't remember the 21 days already.
Yeah.
And then we treat like, and then, you expect to go to US, you expect to go to Australia, Canada, whatever country you want to go to, you can apply.
Yeah. So you're in this refugee camp,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know if it's through the United Nations or whomever it's through, but essentially from there, everybody who is there is hoping to go to some other country uh, to live the rest of their lives. Correct?
So
Okay.
whatever the country opens up, say, hey, we have we're accepting 100.
I
Let's
see.
say Norway. Norway is accepting over 100 refugee, and then we apply, we got accepted, our family.
I remember reading this. This was crazy
Yeah,
right here.
and then here comes 3,000 refugee,
Mm. Oh,
nowhere's to house. 3,000 refugee, more than 3,000 from Vietnam all the way to Manila.
wow.
Nowhere to house them. Our camp is filled. And so they said, since they're the ones so packed, and then let them go first. And then that's how we already bought luggage, we already bought clothing and ready to leave to Norway, my family. And then
Wow.
we have to give up the seat for the people on that big boat,
Wow.
the big ship. So that's why we end up coming to US. I mean, everything is there for a reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could be speaking Norwegian right now if you're
Yeah,
a
maybe
Norwegian
now I'll be.
podcaster. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't speak English anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what language they're speaking over there. Norwegian.
Wow. Yeah, Norwegian.
But anyway, yeah, my mom is determined to come to US.
Mm.
My father was, just want to go to whatever country
Yeah.
that, comes first.
Yeah.
And then it starts with the smaller country,
Hmm.
and then and then Canada, Australia opens up, and people are flooding to Canada's and Australia. My dad said, let's go there. We've been here like 13 months already. Let's apply. My mom said
Wow.
she's so determined. I want to go to USA. I don't want to go back to another communist country. I want a strong country. My mom is determined.
This is
US.
amazing. I
Yeah, so that's
remember
why we
reading
end
this
up in
part
US.
going, I was
Yeah.
shocked to read this part because I just thought,
Uh-huh.
if I'm there, Mitch is probably what your father was thinking. Let's go
Let's
wherever
go.
we
Canada
can,
is a big country.
But your mother
Australia.
said
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
She
She
wanted to
said,
come to the
no, we
US,
need to go to
a
a big
strong
biggest
country.
country, strongest country, nobody can, you know.
Right.
But yeah, that's how we end up coming to US, but we waited a lot longer. A lot of people are 5 months, they already gone, 6 months, they already gone, 8 months, they already gone. Go to Canada, go to Australia, go to France,
Yeah.
right now I have uncles in Australia. I have people in France because we all came out in different part of the world.
Wow.
We end up in a different part of the
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
Yeah. Now all nine of you are still together, the brothers and
Uh,
sisters?
all, all, my father came to United States. Unfortunately, he lived another 8 year and then he passed.
I see.
And then
Yeah.
my mom's still with us, and then all five of
Yeah.
all four of my siblings still with
Yes.
us.
But
Yeah.
but all nine of you came from, or Not nine, seven
Seven.
of you. Seven of you came from the
Came
Philippines
straight to
to the States.
Philadelphia.
Oh, Philadelphia. Wow.
Philadelphia. That's where we, first
Yeah.
stopped.
By
Yeah, and then
boat or
still there.
by airplane? How did you
By
come?
airplane,
Yeah.
the government flew you over.
Okay.
Yeah, the local church
Yeah.
sponsor us, and then the government flew us over, and then put us on welfare. And then guess what? 3 months later, we're off welfare.
Yeah, now I wanted to ask you about that because I that blew my mind right there as well. But
Yeah.
I maybe didn't surprise me, but it was still mind blowing to read it. Okay, so now you're now you've arrived in Philadelphia. How old are you then? Are you probably 13 or
I am
14 or
14. I'm
14?
14 turning 15. Yeah,
Wow, that's
so
incredible.
so I live in Philippines for 13 months. Yeah. So I lost 5 years of education from 1975 to 1980. I
Wow.
come to United States October 18, 1979.
So you're 14. Okay, that's very interesting. That's exactly the year that I went into the Air Force. What what month? I'm curious. Do you remember?
October 18, 1979, I come
Wow.
to United States.
Okay.
Yeah. I call it 1980, so it's almost
Yeah,
end of
yeah.
the year.
It's almost the end of the
Yeah,
year.
so
Okay,
round it
so
off, it's easier to do math. Yeah.
so you arrive in Philadelphia, and what happens from there?
We just do normal kid
But you
stuff
went to
and
school
apply
though,
to
right?
school. Apply to school.
What grade did you go into?
I I got into eighth grade, but for like a couple months, and they moved me up to ninth grade.
Oh,
Okay, so it's only a couple months,
okay.
and to ninth grade, and then that's where I actually started, and then I flunked to the whole high school year because of the
The language,
the
right?
language barrier
Yeah,
and the gap. And
yeah.
I also come from behind, losing five
Sure.
years of school. And, all that time was lose because 1975 to end of 79, and it's literally pick up from there.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically all the basic
Yeah.
stuff I don't have
Wow.
I don't have a
Okay.
hands on.
That's incredible. I mean, really, but okay, so you arrived there and you were put on welfare, and then 3 months later you went
My
off of
dad,
welfare. Tell
my
us
my
about
dad,
this.
my dad decided to go out and work for a metal factory and making $3.35 at the time. And then, just barely, not even enough money to put food on the
And
table.
he can't speak English, right?
He can't speak English, and he's a heavy labor, just,
Yeah.
come home with backache and come home,
Yeah, sure.
but we were off welfare very quickly. Yeah. And then we were on our own. Yeah. And then guess
Wow.
what? We all start, you know, working. I started working when I was 15, 16 years old. Yeah. So
Wow.
like summertime, when summertime comes, and New Jersey has a lot of grape farm, strawberry farms, and blueberry farms. And then we wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and ride to the gas station. The bus will come pick us up and take us to the farm. By the time we get to New Jersey farm, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, and you start picking blueberry. So one tray has 24 pints on it. So you gotta fill it up. No leaves, no stem, no little one. All you gotta pick all the big one by hand. So that's what I did for a couple of years
And you were
as a
working
little
with
kid.
who? Who were the other people
With
working?
with, with
Just
all my sibling and my mom and dad.
really? And but and
Yeah, my
other
mom and my
Americans and
dad.
such and so, yeah.
Yeah, we the whole family go farming and do what we can do to make money. And in fact, we are super happy about it. So because we make, $20 a day, we make $12 a day. And, with the whole family, you add up like $80, $100, you're happy.
Wow.
And so we bless on that. And we did that for a couple of years, and until opportunity came, and my mom decided to buy a small restaurant, and for $38,000, I think, bought the
How
business.
did you afford a restaurant?
We saved up with farming.
I knew you were going to say that, but I was just thinking.
We're not
So
a
you're
spender.
living, but you're
Whatever we
living.
make, we try to save, and then we start the business. That's how
Wow.
we get ahead of other people. Yeah, we saved up whatever we make, and then we just,
Yeah.
my dad is bringing in income, and then, our life situation got better.
Sure.
And my dad got into a casino and worked in a restaurant, and he's bringing in tips as a busboy. And our situation changed, and it got better. It got a lot better. And then when my dad started bringing in a lot more income, and then I went out to do waitering job after that. I was a dishwasher, busboy, and then a waiter. And then since I become a waiter until I finish college. So we chip in the money, whatever we made. My brother was a chef for a restaurant, and then he become a waiter. We all work just like everybody else. We
that's
all
the whole
chip in the
thing,
family and keep the family going and save up the money and buy the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you bought a restaurant and
In North Philly, and then we owned that business for 3-4 years, and then my older brother give up his luxury to go to college and to help the family to run the business.
so I mean I don't want to presume, was it a Chinese or Vietnamese
It was a
restaurant or
Chinese
American?
takeout restaurant. It was a
Okay.
Chinese takeout restaurant, just like the takeout restaurant that you
Right.
go to,
Yeah.
but it's a
Very
lot,
interesting.
smaller. Yeah,
Yeah.
not as pretty
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
today's
Yeah.
equipment like today. Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Mhm. So
Just I
yeah,
mean,
it came from a long way.
wow. I mean, and so just to sort of wrap this up. So you obviously get through high school and then you go to college and
Yeah. I gone to all 4 years of high school, and
hmm
obviously with the barrier, and I literally the teacher just let me go. Let's put it that way.
yeah. Yeah.
They just
Oh,
let me graduate.
I had that
I didn't
situation
pass
too.
anything, but they just let
Yeah.
me go.
Yeah.
Meaning,
Yeah.
and there's no college would accept me.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
tried to apply to Temple, Drexel,
did you
whatever,
really?
Penn State,
Really?
because I'm, such a bad student because of the grading situation, uh, and no college would accept me. And so, and then, everybody going back to school. I'm still at home, and my mom said, "What are you gonna do? You
Yeah.
18-year-old, you only have a waiter job in the weekend, but you gotta do something." And she said, you better go back to school. So I walked in community college, apply for the apply, and then I got an advisor to advise me and look at my grade. Oh, you good in art? That's the section I was doing well.
Interesting. Interesting.
He put me in architecture. I said, what is it? They say you do a lot of drawing. I said, just put me in.
Wow.
That's how I could become an architect.
That's
It was
incredible
by
right there.
chance. It's not because I like it, or because I choose to.
Yeah.
You know.
I think about something like that, Ken, and now this makes me think of my faith, how I believe God works sometimes is that you may have gone to another person that was maybe just at the next chair and they not had seen your art and understood that. I mean, it's possible.
Mhm.
One other person would have not recognized, oh, you're good at art, and they put you in some kind of other soft humanities course as opposed to seeing that
Mhm.
when you're 18 in community college, and that then turns into you being a very successful architect and designer and so forth.
Yeah.
That's a pretty amazing
Actually,
piece.
I've been blessed, and when I go to community college, that's when I really pick up the language, and I
I
got a
see.
very good English teacher to guide me in the right direction.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yes.
Without guidance, just the high school, I didn't learn anything. I was I was literally, giving up school, coming home, just throw my book back on the side and then just head to the basketball court. My mom has to go to the court to grab me back for dinner every day. I don't do homework, and I lose interest because I'm not catching up of
I
the
see.
schoolwork.
I
So
see.
I sit in the class, I doze off, and I just don't understand what's going on and kind of
Very
thing.
interesting.
And it just lose interest. I completely lose interest in school. Yeah.
And
For
how did
all 4 years of high school, all four
oh
years.
Oh, in high school. And so
in
this,
high school.
so, oh, I see. Very, very interesting. And so
Yeah.
this English teacher then turned your mind around.
Turns me around, that's when I really pick up language, because right now when I speak, I'm not grammatically right. I just speak, whatever I know, whatever have learned,
Yeah.
since I passed uh
Yeah.
18 years old. That's when I actually learned the language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So
just
so I
incredible.
don't have any technical background
Right.
in terms of grammar or whatever, because
Yeah.
I fall short on education. So I
Yeah.
pick up at the end of it. And I'm blessed, and I'm doing well, very well in college. So as soon as I got into community college, that's when my life changed, like I accelerate in a different way.
But you
So
felt different. You started to see, as you say, that light in the tunnel. You started to,
yeah.
and this gives you some energy, right?
Yeah. No, you basically discover what you can do already, because with
Right.
guidance.
Yeah.
So when the teacher spot me, hey, you good in art, you should do this. And I don't even know what architect do. I don't even know what the profession is. I
Yeah.
don't even know the word of architect, what it means.
Yeah. But you trusted
Oh,
him.
it's drawing, just put me on it.
Put me in it. Yeah.
Yeah, put me in it, and I'll just do it.
Do what
And
everybody
and
says. Yeah.
from there on, I'll just continue that path
Wow.
until all the way to the very end of that path. And then of course, after I graduated as an architect, I came out
So this
and
was you did 4 years then, right?
I did 2 years in community college, and then I transferred the credit to Spring Garden. I got a
Okay.
5-year bachelor degree from Spring
Okay.
Garden in architecture. So from there, I was doing really well, and I got accepted by Miami University for a full scholarship. So I got full scholarship for my master's degree. So I didn't have to pay a dime, and they housed me. I was a TA, and I make money from school.
Right.
So it took me a year and a summer to graduate for 36 credit hour to get my master's
Wow.
degree. I went to it like I don't even remember what the campus looked like.
Oh, no kidding. And
Yeah,
so
that's how quickly I finished my master's degree. Yeah.
so now
I was
what
taking
do you
21 credit.
that's incredible. I mean, so now what are you feeling and thinking, Ken? What is your mind like now in your master's program? I mean,
I mean, I don't, I mean, just don't give up trying. You don't know what you're capable until you try. That's what I always advise people, because I didn't discover this myself until somebody put me into it. And then I say, hey, I do have this talent. When I presenting my piece on the wall, what I design, everybody claps. Something tells me I'm doing something right.
wow.
And that motivate me to continue going. And I got pieces on newspaper. I got pieces, selected by, art, academy. I mean, I'm not a well-known architect, but when I was in school, I got pieces picked up by newspaper that I present. So that means that I'm on the right path. So I'm doing something
Yeah.
right. But I don't know what to expect to make money out of it
Sure.
until I discover when I come out to the field.
I
So
see.
I was doing really well, very creative, and very creative in a aesthetic view of creating
Wow.
architectural
Yeah.
stuff. So
I mean, some of just the immediate lessons that you're speaking about right now is this idea that that you I mean, to say that you struggled to get to just to high school is just
yeah,
such an understatement. But you get to high school, you lose some you lose some motivation and some energy because because now you're dealing with not as much survival, physical survival, but now the intellectual survival. And it seems maybe by that point you're 15, 16. Who has the energy after what you went through? But so you just sort of made it through high school, but with no motivation, no energy.
no. Mhm.
You're working now, and your mother says, and these are important, what I call pivotal moments in your life. Your mother says, you got to go do something. So go back to
Stay
school.
home. That's what she
Yeah.
said. You
So
can
you
stay home.
yeah,
Yeah.
so right, you can't stay home. Go get so you go back to school, and um, then some counselor sees that you have some interest and some maybe some skills in art, and they say, okay, I'm going to put you in architecture. You say, I have no idea what you're talking about. In any event, you start this work. You meet an English teacher who then starts to help you, mentor you a little bit, right? And
Yes.
then and the point is that when you're in high school, the flame goes down,
Yes.
and then it's dim, and your mother says go, and you have just enough to survive, and then it starts to grow from there. The flame,
Spark
the
from
light,
there. It's actually spark from there, just
spark
because I
from
didn't.
there.
Yeah, I didn't realize, what capability that I still
Right.
have in me that I
Yes.
can, not speaking the language until you graduate with a 3.6 in the undergrad.
That's incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
from
So I said, I
barely
am
making it
doing
to
really
yeah,
well, and people love the
yeah,
art that I create.
yeah.
And, with guide, of course, I'm still struggling with anything related to English. I still
Sure.
do at the time.
Of
I
course.
cannot do my thesis without help. I cannot do my, whatever that related to like
Yeah.
history without help, writing a
Yes.
report without help. So
Yes.
I bump into a classmate, and his roommate is an editor. His friend is an editor. So I become friend with that editor, Jerry. Okay. And he's the one who's become my mentor for all the school year that I ever been to. Every time I written something up, and he helped me on grammar, he helped me to edit it, and he helped me, hey, this doesn't make sense. And he helped to correct me. So basically he's a biggest, part of the
Yeah.
puzzle for me to get through the college.
And he was another student.
No, he was an editor from a friend.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
when I think about this, Ken, again, I don't, I'm not going to try to pretend that I understand exactly how the connections take place from your childhood and to what you then experience at this point. But I think I'm thinking back on your mother when she was having this conversation with your father about this person, let's have a conversation with them, let's ask him for help, and then he helps you, you see. And this process of going along as you a child, seeing these things unfold, and now you go into college, and in some way, if I'm saying this correctly, you're replicating what your mother and your father, of course, taught you.
Absolutely. I
You're
am.
asking for help. You're looking for
Mm.
other people who have this ability and this and your network and all of these sorts of things. It's incredible.
No, actually, it is a great experience learning from my parents about that situation.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm still applying the same principle to my business. So I always talk to, people I know and my partner. I say one hand cannot clap. One hand cannot clap. You're gonna have to need help. So the more hand you get, the better you are.
A one
So
birded.
one person
Yeah.
cannot be, greedy enough to take all. So you're gonna have to split your wealth and help each other out, and share your knowledge. So I'm not worried about sharing. I guide people into business, and I help people into business. I don't care they're gonna be competing with me, because what I do is what I do. So I'm glad you can get on your feet and being able to be successful on that. I'm happy for them. So I have mentor, few people out of, being labor. Yeah.
That's incredible.
So
I love what you're saying here. And I really didn't know this part of,
uh,
that you're mentoring and helping other people. I mean, I would assume that you were, but I didn't, we haven't talked about this. But here's the other thing that I would like your opinion about. Of course, that I just sort of almost as a community thing, I coach tennis, right?
mhm. Yes.
And I even worked with one of your daughters for a very short period of time. But I've told many people, because I just do this for middle school. There's not really any money involved. I mean, not so to speak. I do it. I started because my daughter was going to this middle school. I started just helping the coach. And then she later was having some health issues and asked me if I would be the head coach. I said yes. I really didn't want to. But then I started realizing what I could contribute to young kids. that I could speak to them in ways and help them grow and to mentor them to speak little words into their souls about life and about these sorts of things. And here's my point, Ken, that you do the same thing, and that I always encourage people like you are doing to help young people out there,
Yeah.
to give them your time and your understanding of life. I just, and of course we know your beautiful kids, and I have to mention, I do want to ask where you met your wife Colleen, and you have your beautiful kids Hannah, who helped write the book, and then Megan and Nathan, who still come to our house every week to take piano lessons from Jane. But you have gone through this really incredible journey, Ken,
I
from
have. Yeah.
from being a child, and now, and this brings me back to what I was reading early on when we first started. And now you have taken all of that life journey, very, very difficult life journey, and built a beautiful, beautiful family. I mean, you really do. You have a beautiful family,
Thank you.
your wife and your kids, and an incredible business.
Very good wife.
Yes, yes. Which I know she's the real boss of your house, but that's another time. uh, but this really incredible business. You're very, very successful here in Middle Tennessee, and you're also a humble man who recognizes from whence you came, and what it takes now to be successful, and you're passing this on to other people. I just think that's so beautiful. So may I just ask, so you went on to get your master's degree, and then how did you eventually come here to Middle Tennessee?
Okay, it's a long journey. After I graduated, and it was a recession. Okay, 1992.
Mm,
And I don't know who's being in the government at the time, but it was a recession and there's
yeah,
no hiring. And
yeah.
so then my cousin was a registered architect in Hawaii. And then he said, our company are open up. You want to come try? I moved to Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
The day I didn't even go to the graduation on my master's degree. I went, I finished the course and I came home and I packed. Then I packed and I moved to Hawaii. They shipped me my degree.
Wow.
So the degree is sitting up there right now.
Wow.
So, and that's when I got, my first job living in Hawaii. My mom didn't want me to leave, obviously. And so no choice, but I have to because of
Sure.
that's what's, what opens me up into the field.
Sure.
So my cousin guided me into the business, and I worked with his company for a little bit over a year, and then I got new offer.
Mm.
So with better opportunity, so I left Lewis and then move on to a next one, and then I do another 5 more year, and I found computer very interesting. When I came out from college, Windows 3 was just available.
Oh, wow.
One, and then you have a 368 a computer super slow.
Yeah.
And I find computer super fast, fascinating. Then I got sidetracked after 5 years of architect. I got
I see.
sidetracked and I started learning, programming, learning computer. I find it very interesting. Learn how to build computer, learn how to write a program, and learn how to do databases.
I
And
didn't know all that
I find
either.
those things
Wow.
all very interesting. So
Yeah.
I learned SQL Server, I learned Oracle, I learned programming. So I know
Wow.
a little bit of everything.
That's
So I
crazy.
know how to build a computer. And so my interest dropped again
I see.
after I become a network support tool for all script. So I support all the doctors' computer.
Mm,
So I troubleshoots and Wi-Fi and all that.
mm.
So I did that for 2 years. I found that that's not my cup of tea either. So I don't want to go back to school and get my engineering degree or programmer degree. So I said, let's go back to architect. So I went back to architect, and I make good money on the computer side. That's why it got me so interested, left
I see.
architect at the moment for a short period of time.
I see.
So I went back, and then, of course, all script laid me off after 2 years. And then I took that opportunity and I moved back to Philadelphia after 10 years living
I
in
see.
Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh,
that
wow.
journey was short. So I met Colleen in Hawaii.
Mm.
So I knew Raymond from school, which is her older brother. and for a long time, for, from school, from high school, from, college, community college. So when I go home and then, I gather with my friend and then, hey, I have a sister out there and, maybe you guys want to, take care of each other. That's how I met Colleen.
How interesting.
Her brother.
Wow.
Her sister. I knew her sister. I know her brother, but I don't know her. She was too young. She's 8 years younger than me.
Oh,
so it was an age gap thing.
Yeah.
So I knew her older sister, Sharon. So I know Alan, her husband. And then we get together every time. I work together with him as a waiter. So we get together when I go home to Philadelphia. And Alan and Sharon was telling me, hey, I have a sister in Hawaii too. Maybe, you guys can be friend over there, to look out for each other. So since you both are alone. And that's how I met Colleen. And then we have a clique. And then, here we go. We have a family now.
Wow. Oh, that's fantastic. Wow. So you met her. I didn't know you met her in Hawaii as well.
Yeah. So I took that opportunity, moved back to Philadelphia, practiced architect for 5 more years, and then I got another layoff. And then my mentor for college, for architect mentor, and he graduated 3 years before me, and he moved to Houston, and he become a general contractor over there.
I see.
Yeah. I lost my job in Philadelphia. He said, come over, Ken. Learn what I do. Maybe one day you can do what I do. I find it fascinating as a general contractor. So I say, are you open up for partnership? He's another Asian, greedy, one hand. Don't want to accept another partner. I could help him to grow his business. Yeah. He didn't want. He said he's doing well. He said, I'm not looking for a partner, but I'm just willing to guide you into the business. He did. I thank him for that.
Of course.
And he write me, recommendation letter to become a general contractor too. So he's still my friend. So he's very good, but unfortunately we cannot become a business partner.
Sure.
And so I almost moved to Houston to start my general contractor. I didn't want to compete with him or what I learned from him. Yeah. And then when I came back home and on that same year, my sister said, hey, I have a friend in Tennessee. It's July 4th. Can you drive me over there? I can drive 13 hours to go to Tennessee. I lost my job and then I went on and I drive you over there. Guess what? I come to Tennessee and I said, this is my home.
Wow.
And then Sarah Jane, she was a mail carrier for many years. And then she started seeing 2005 is booming left and right. And she become a realtor and she found a lot of investment property that is good to invest. She called my sister over. I came over, tag along, just being a driver. And I saw what the house is. She, walked me for house. The new house is being built left and right. And I said, I can do that. I can do that 10 times better. And I got the design part and then now guess what? I say, I call Colleen up. I say, this is our home. And I want to be a general contractor over here.
Wow.
That's how it came about. Wow. It's not because I choose to.
Yeah.
And then I went back home. I looked up how to become a general contractor. You got to come to Nashville, take that course. I came here. I stayed with Sarah. She, nice enough to let me stay for 1 week. So I took that course and I went back 2 months later. I'm licensed. Only took me 2 months. So I was licensed in 2 months. And I guess, it helps a lot because I already have all the knowledge in building.
Sure.
And code, building, constructions, I already have all the knowledge on the other side of the fence. It helped me, to get these pieces a lot easier.
Yeah.
That's why I was able to get the license in 2 months. And then I came back on November and I bought the house here and then moved the family over in January. And then I started breaking ground on March. That's how quickly that was. And since then, now it's 18 years.
Wow.
18 years. And I would say, the first couple of years, after the first 2 years, and then it came another recession, 2008.
2008, yeah.
And 2005. So 3 years later, it hits us. And then just like everybody struggled. So I was fortunate enough to survive, because I didn't have a whole lot out there.
Yeah.
So I was survived. I got rid of the 3 house was over $1 million at cost, and I got rid of it in time.
Oh, wow.
So I
Wow,
sold
man.
at cost. I sold it at
Yeah.
cost, and I got out of the loan.
But
I was carrying $3 million loan at that time.
Yeah.
I will not be able to survive for 2 months.
Right. Right.
Yeah, for that interest eat me alive.
Wow.
So I got rid of the 3 houses, at cost, didn't make a dime out of it, and just unload.
Yeah.
And then I whatever come, whatever, being slow, but I survive. I don't have interest that eat me alive.
But
So I was fortunate, very fortunate.
No, very, very. I would say, of course, fortunate, but also very wise as well. Because again, even though, listen, Ken, when you say that, here it's 2008 and you survived, I think to myself, you know what? But of course you did. I mean, you know, but that's part of the story, and it's part of why I wanted you to be a part of this podcast, is because this is not a story from my vantage point of a person who is a successful architect. This is the story of a man and now your family and Colleen and all them who, a man who came from this incredible journey of survival, of resilience, of all of these things, and and the rest is just history. It's everything that you went through in your life contribute. It's just like, I'm not going to say life is easy, but again, just to hear you survive, it just, of course you survived.
I mean, you learn the new business, start from scratch.
Yeah.
Basically, I was never in business. I was always in corporate, for all this year.
Yeah.
And until I get onto the business, I stumble too, just like everybody else. You stumble, you learn, you just pick yourself back up, and you hit rock, and then you just pick it up and continue going.
But there it is. And all these things in your life are metaphors to this idea of, again, as a young person, you hit this reef and you just go into action to get out of this problem. So let me just ask, if I may, Ken, just sort of conclude here. Can you share with us, and you really kind of have already done this, but I just think it'd be a good question to ask. Can you share with us, for other people that are just starting out, or that are now struggling, or that they don't see that light in the tunnel right now, whatever scenarios that we can think of, can you share just from your heart, some words of encouragement or inspiration or whatever, for them to be resilient, to move forward as you did?
I can only speak for myself. In life, nothing is a straight path. Nothing. Even I'm an architect, and when I was in the architect field, with a corporate, wear ties and suit every day, and it's not an easy sell either. I mean, you are competing with hundreds of other architects within the field, and you gotta make yourself stand out. Is not easy. And being Asian, being minority, being in a white collar corporate world, you're not easy to blend in. You're not. So including today as a builder, I cannot blend in with the local builder because I'm different. I cannot compete going out and say, hey, I'll beat this job against Mr. John. I'll lose because I'm a minority. I'm not using that as a excuse, and I'm using that as my advantage. Okay, because I'm different, I make it myself as a different. Because I'm different, you need me more. You're not just Mr. John Doe. You know what I'm saying, right? So I use that.
So you're not using that as an idea to become a victim, but you're turning that around to become an advantage.
Advantage. I don't use that as an excuse. That's how I mentor some of the people that works for me. A kid coming from Salvador, 18 years old, working for labor to put food on the table for the family. don't speak a word of English, got extremely skillful hand craftsmanship. I say, David, I cannot communicate with you. I need to talk to your boss to tell you what to do. I say you have extremely, well God-give skill to you. I say one day you want to become your own boss, you gotta learn English. I did it, you can do it. You 18, I was 18 too when I learned English. I say when you go home from today, turn off your Hispanic channel, turn on the news, start listening English. You can talk broken English, I don't care.
Right.
As long as I can talk to you, you can tell me
communicate.
Communication. I say, without communication, I say, why would you want to make $80 a day if you can make? I told him, one job I pay 8,000, one job I pay 20,000. Why don't you make that 20,000 instead of making $80 a day at the time? So he did take my advice. Guess what? He runs a 3 crew now, trimming crew. David, he got 4 or 5 people working for him. Wow. And he's still doing my trim work. Yeah. And he types broken English on my text, but I understand him.
Yeah.
I understand him. So he did take my advice and he's successful today. And I'm super happy for him, And that's only one story, but I did guide people into the business too. And to go back to your question, nothing is in a straight line. And, when you come to a curve, you just have to pick up yourself and find a way to overcome that curve.
To navigate it, yeah.
To navigate to that curve. Nothing comes easy. Nothing comes easy unless you have a wealthy father that inherit you the money. You don't have to work. Yeah. Other than that, you just have to, life is life and nothing comes easy. And
that's important to the mindset that when, and I think it's one of the ways that I believe, and again, I'm not disparaging anybody, but that there are so many people, and I would say particularly in America, that maybe we've made some things too easy for our kids. And so when they come to these places that are very, very difficult, it takes them a minute to understand, first to get over the expectation that this was supposed to be easy, rather be able to go into a situation understanding nothing's a straight line, nothing's easy. You just start with one thing, learn English or learn this skill or whatever it is. You take action, right? You take action.
You have to. You have to take on and to do it yourself. You can't be depending on other people. To hand you the thing, or to walk you through it. So basically, life lesson, you just have to learn it yourself. I mean, I stumbled to the business for the first 10 years too. So you hit rock, you hit the wall, and then you just turn around and pick it up and do it again. Yeah.
Well, author and personal development guru, the late Stephen Covey, many people don't necessarily understand. He had the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And the first habit to become successful, he said that habit number 1 is to be proactive. And of course, we know what proactive is, but he talks about proactivity in a different way, that he starts with the concept that to be proactive, the first thing you have to do is take 100% responsibility and accountability for who you are and where you're going. And when you have this mentality that no matter what has happened to me in my past, I'm responsible for what's happening right now moving forward. When you take on that mentality, it changes everything for you, because like you said, of course, you, as your mother did, as your father did, as you did, as we, as I think good thinking people do, you do ask for help when you need it. But that's different than asking people to do other things that you should do. That's different. So the first thing, to your point, is that you accept responsibility for your life and then make it happen and that sort of thing. Well, listen, Ken, so, this is the book right here. It was written by your daughter, Hannah, well, several years ago now, when she was in the 9th grade, I think, right?
9th grade, yeah, freshman.
Is it on Amazon?
I think so. It's also in the library too.
Oh, it is? Okay, but see, I'm going to try to find the link and
I think she's going to update the book too to fill in a lot more detail.
I
And
think that would be terrific. This
yeah,
book
because it's
is,
missing a lot of detail.
I
Yeah,
can only imagine. I mean, she was a ninth grader. You can see how
ninth
thin the book
grade.
is. But I got to tell you, even the second time that I wrote it, I mean, I was like, I was stuck on it just reading with my eyes wide open.
Mhm.
And and there's, and especially, Ken, when you read it in the context, as I did, of, of personal development, of, of using it, to help. It shares a whole new story about what it takes to be successful in life. And so, Ken, you know, I appreciate you so much. We have known you all for a long time. We love your family, all of you,
Um,
and we're just very, very grateful that you're in our lives. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time to tell
Thank
your
you.
story here on Grow Yourself.
Yeah.
So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Kevin. You have a great day.
By the way, Ken, let me just ask real quick. I should ask, where can people find your company? What's your website, or this for
Signaturedesignsgroup.com.
signaturedesignsgroup.com. And so
Yeah.
again, I will
Design
put,
with an S in the, yeah.
okay,
Design.
with an S in it. And
Yeah.
so, and your wife's a realtor as well, right? Isn't she
Yeah,
a
she
realtor?
sells real estate. Yeah.
And so
She's helped me to, I build, she sells.
Bill, she says, I love it. What a team.
We team, yeah, we team effort here. Yeah.
Oh, that's so wonderful. So,
Yeah.
okay, well, listen, thanks again, Ken, and give my
You're
best
welcome.
to your
You're
family.
welcome. All
Okay.
right.
Okay,
Have a
talk
good
to you
day.
soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.